Hey guys, this is Jake again, and I'm going to be going over another aspect that we covered in Class 1 for SEO copywriting, and that is just taking a quick look at your website to see how, just kind of an audit and how to do that. So I've just gone to this website, and let's take a look at some content from my last video here, and this is a blog with a video attached. And if I want to know what Google thinks of this post, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click my mouse pad, and you can see here that I've got this option to inspect. So I'm going to click on that. Now that's going to pull up this new window here that is not part of the browser window, and you can see that it brings up several items across the top here. I have elements, console, sources, network, performance, memory, application security, Lighthouse, and AdBlock Plus. So the elements are actually the individual parts of this page as they appear in the HTML and the CSS on your website. So you can see here I've got this content SEO checklist here. If I inspect that very thing, right here, you see content SEO checklist. That's a heading 2 on the page. So I can check on my headings by doing this. Good thing to do if you don't know whether or not a certain page has the correct headings on it. You can just use this tool. But I'm going to just kind of go across here. I don't care about most of this stuff, but I do care about performance, and I do care about right here, Lighthouse. So Lighthouse is just a tool that Google has created that lets me just take a look at what Google thinks about my page. So I'm going to go ahead and say generate report. This is going to take just 1 second because there's actually, this is a cloud-based tool that's working behind the scenes. You'll also notice it automatically switched to a mobile device when it started scanning the website. I didn't do that. Lighthouse did. And the reason for that is that Google cares a lot more about your website on mobile than it does on desktop. So that's something to consider. You really want to make sure that you are covered there. Uh, so we can see right away that Lighthouse has done its thing, and it's measuring this web page, not website, web page, on 5 things: performance, accessibility, best practice, SEO or search engine optimization, and progressive web app. This is not, I'm not running a progressive web app. This is not a progressive web app, so this is grayed out. It doesn't matter in this case. But the other 4 do: performance, accessibility, best practices, and SEO. And you can see I'm doing okay in 3 of those and pretty bad in the other. Now, 22 as far as performance really isn't all that bad. It's not uncommon to see things in the teens or even less than 10. However, you really want to be in the 70s, 80s, 90s if you can achieve that. It does usually take a lot of work, but it's worth it, because the faster your website is, the more likely Google is to show it to your internet searchers. So I'm going to take a look at just the performance metrics now. So I've run my audit. Google says, here's what we do like, here's what we don't like, and here's how I find out what to do next. Metrics. First, okay, so these are just different landmarks as they're loading my page. First, content full paint. That's when things actually show up on the screen. And here's a little timeline of how everything appears on the screen. You can see when Google first clicked on the website, there was nothing for a long time, and then things slowly began to load. And here's where the rubber meets the road here, and it says, okay, here's what you need to do to fix this. In my case, I need to eliminate render blocking resources. So when I drop this down, it actually shows the resources that are blocking the website from loading. So this thing right here is loading. HTTPS dev. So it looks like this is a CSS file that's loading. it's kind of large, and Google says, well, if you can avoid loading this before your page loads, then you can save 710 milliseconds. So that's kind of what it's doing. Now, if you don't know how to do this, don't touch it. This is probably best left for someone who really knows what they're doing in this area. You might have to hire someone to do this. If you do know how to do it, great. Go ahead and jump in there and start. Sometimes you can find a tool to what's called Minify your script. If you're on website or if you're on WordPress, you might be able to find a plugin that'll do that. In my case, I actually have a Minify option in the theme I'm running. And I just haven't done that yet, mostly because this website is still in a development URL. I'll also add that. So this website that we're working on right now is in a development URL. It's not on a fast moving server. It's on a server designed to build a website, not serve a website. So that's probably where a lot of my problems lie, is this is a development site. But as we kind of go down the list here, preload key requests. Um, so the browser is making requests for certain files. If I had loaded those onto my website instead of had like a third party load it, that might save time. Again, if you don't know how to fix that, don't try. Just hire someone. Remove unused CSS. You'll have to hire someone for that. Properly sized images. This is one you can do yourself. Anyone can do this. All you have to do is you have to scan the website with the right tool. So let me see if I can find my tool to scan my websites. I'll go to my bookmarks. Okay. Right here, Cloudinary. If you go to webspeedtest.cloudinary.com, you enter your website URL here and analyze it, and it will look at every image on the website and then give you a properly sized image. Then you just have to put those properly sized images on your website and you're good. So a lot of different options to do this, and it looks like when I clicked off that, I lost my report. So I'll just grab that again. 1 second here. Okay. So we just kind of went over performance there. Most of the stuff, like I said, you'll have to hire someone out to do it, but there's a few things you can do, such as fixing images. And the more of these you can fix, the better. The more, the faster your website will run. Going on to the next item, accessibility. Accessibility is the is what Google and other search engines call the ability to serve those who maybe have some sort of a disability, such as not, I mean, a blind person, for example, wouldn't be able to read anything on your website. And by adding image alt tags, you're actually increasing your accessibility. In addition to that, WordPress is actually really well set up for this because, it automatically provides for a lot of the back-end coding that is required for accessibility, but let's just take a look at this. So these checks highlight opportunities to improve the accessibility of your web app. Only a subset of accessibility issues can be automatically detected, so manual testing is also encouraged. So, this isn't everything, but it's something. Background and foreground colors do not have sufficient contrast ratio. So this is saying that what I need to do is I need to, for people who are hard of seeing, I should change the colors of my background and foreground colors to help people see better. So that's just something they're encouraging me to do. Let's see what else. Form elements do not have associated labels. So the form, when I make a contact form, what I need to do is I need to label those fields, first name, last name, uh, email address, that sort of thing, so that automatic web page reader can actually read those things. Links do not have a discernible name. So that means if I have a link and the link is like www.shastaedc.com and then a string of numbers and letters, that is worthless to someone who doesn't know where they're going. It should have a link that says www.shastaedc.com slash moving to Reading / blog or something like that. The names should be clear. Lists, okay. It's saying that I should code better to explain the lists on the web page. And then past audits 19. Okay, best practices. Includes font. So what a best practice means is there's some things that just make websites easier to use in terms of UX and UI. And if you're not doing those things, you're confusing people. Your website is not necessarily good. I mean, there is a such thing as just a bad website because it's hard to use. And by using best practices, you actually have a good website. Very little to say here. Trust and safety. Okay, general. I don't actually know what this means. You'd probably want to hire someone who specializes in this sort of thing to take a look at that. Let's see what trust and safety is. Okay, this is saying just make sure I'm using the most up-to-date jQuery library. I probably need to go through and update something in the website, like the theme or a plugin, to make sure I have the latest jQuery library loaded across my website. And then finally, SEO is saying I need to add a meta description to the page. That's clearly something that should be done on every page. Page is blocked from indexing. Of course, so when you block a page from indexing, what that means is that Google can't crawl the page, and that's bad. You don't want to do that. In this case, again, I'm on a development site. I'm blocking Google from looking at my website because it's under development. So that's Lighthouse in a nutshell. It's a really quick, down and dirty audit. It's a great place to start to let you know what you need to work on. If you ran something like this and you see that your performance is low, that means it's time to take a look at what you can do to increase your performance. And by that, I mean make the website run faster. First thing you can do, get it on a faster server. If your server is slow, then no matter what you do, it doesn't matter. So get it on a fast server and then start going through these items like getting smaller images uploaded. And you may need to hire a coder to manipulate the code or look for a plugin that's going to minify your JavaScript or your HTML or CSS. Excuse me, CSS. So those are the things you can do. And that is how you can quickly audit and work on your website. Thanks, guys. Bye.